Virgo, welcome to the channel. Where is full moon coming? The water bearer of an air sign. So, Virgo season is coming. The mutable earth. The GI system. Virgo. Okay. So Virgo in the present energy, you are the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. So Pentacle energy, the earth. Virgo energy is the pentacles of the earth, work and success and money and, just your material abundance. The Two of Pentacles in the reverse is about feeling like sort of like having trouble balancing priorities. Trying to, prioritize things in the way that feels best for you and plan things accordingly, which a Virgo likes to do. Make sure that everything is like meticulously detailed and is the sixth house of routines. And maybe just having some trouble balancing that right now. And feeling the energy of that with the Capricorn moon, because it's kind of like about our self-discipline and our sort of sense of contraction and our guilt about what we are doing based on what we think we should be doing. And so you are having trouble like just balancing priority right now, which might not necessarily be your usual energy. Chiron is also in retrograde, so just like a lot of healing energy going on for the next several months on a collective level. Challenge right now is the Three of Wands in the reverse, so fire energy there with Leo season. So this is about feeling like maybe like a delay in maybe actual traveling plans, or like wanting to make some long journey, whether that is a spiritual journey, a physical journey, feeling like delayed on like taking the next step. Like this person's like looking out over the ocean at the places that they want to go, and this is more the card. They're feeling like a little bit delayed and not necessarily feeling challenged by the energy that you are a little like delayed on some sort of a journey that you're wanting to take. In the recent past, you had the Eight of Wands in the reverse, more fire energy. Again, feeling like a delay, like a lack of communication from the divine, or lack of communication or passion forward with how you communicate or with a new project. So like feeling like a little bit of a delay in something that you had wanted to have been doing, instead of like movement forward. So and maybe having to do with like something you feel very passionate about and wishing that it was maybe on to the next step, and now like figuring out how to juggle priorities to maybe get in the direction that you're wanting to go. The Empress card in the reverse is in the near future, so not really feeling like you're settling into like your full feminine sense of abundance in this moment, or giving that feminine abundant energy to yourself instead of like to other people. And Virgos always serve, so this is like maybe giving that energy more towards the self than to others in this current moment, which is beautiful for a healing energy. You have to heal the self before you can heal other people. It's always a dynamic process. You can do both at both times, but this is a process about needing to give that sense of abundant love towards the self first. The conscious energy is the Knight of Pentacles, so moving forward with a new business opportunity, way that you are accumulating money, finding stability, accumulating resources. putting in hard work, which is what earth signs and, you know, Virgos definitely know how to do. So like putting in work towards your sense of stability and abundance. And in the subconscious energy is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So feeling like you're not necessarily like wanting to collaborate with other people in this moment. And I think that makes sense because maybe it's like just feeling a little bit of a delayed energy and wanting to like take time to give yourself the fertility that you give to everybody else with that, you know, Earth Mother energy. And so not really feeling like you want to collaborate with other people in this moment, like working on and doing your own thing. Also reminds me of the Hermit card in the tarot, which is like taking a spiritual journey that oftentimes you kind of take like alone, even if you're interacting with other people on that. Advice right now is the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is about perfectionism. Well, or not being sure something was worth it. Sorry, that's the Eight of Pentacles. Not really being sure. I'm just going to say that though. So not really being sure if like what you have been putting your energy into for your career and your finances and your sense of stability is worth it. And like wondering that through that process is sort of your advice in this moment, is like looking at the seeds you've planted, the Capricorn moon, the one who plants the garden, the cardinal earth, and saying like, is what I have done up until this point like worth it, or do I need to do more? Do I need to think about like a new direction? But the advice is to like really look at what you have planted and been like, is this the thing that I wanted to plant? Do I need to like rearrange the garden, the mutable earth, the garden? The energy surrounding you right now is the Devil, so like a sense of addiction and codependency. So being chained and not, and like chaining the self, oftentimes what this can mean, so this can have to do with like you know, being bound. It's important to be interdependent, but codependency, addiction to another, as if like you would not be okay without them, is never like it just can't be a healthy energy, because we all have to realize that at the end of the day, like we come in alone and we go out alone, and so to be able to be okay in that energy is important. And so maybe this delay has to do with like a feeling of like being bound, like is there something that you need to like release? A fear you have is just like a major disappointment with the Ten of Swords just like something having, just like you're afraid that something just like is going to cause a tremendous amount of pain. And this Ten of Swords is a pretty obvious read. It's like just an immense pain, but this is like a fear that you have of an immense pain. And I wonder if it has to do with like the sense of addiction or codependency that you're working with. And your outcome here is the Page of Pentacles, which mirrors in like the same horizontal position, the Knight of Pentacles. So of everything that you are going through, you will be able to work towards this new sense of like abundance and earth that you are working, that you have been working towards, or like bringing a new sense of like work ethic or skill development into your next phase. So in the immediate interim, like kind of feeling delayed, having trouble juggling stuff, and like not feeling in your most abundant energy. But if you just keep working through what you have working, if you can just keep working at what you are doing, then you do have the opportunity to move forward towards this new financial, career, stable opportunity. And it's like just a lot of pentacle energy here, so like really grounding down into that Capricorn moon and the Virgo sun season about to start next week. And like you're fearing pain, but I don't see pain except for like trouble like getting it exactly in the right direction, which a Virgo is always going to want to get, and you know, not necessarily feeling like you're in your abundant fertile energy in this moment, but you're taking the time that you need. And like a part of that, the advice of this process is to really let yourself look at what you've planted and be like, should I change the garden, or is this the one I want, or should I change a few things in the garden? And a sense of codependency is surrounding you, but at the end of the day, like you are really working towards this, you know, new opportunity for abundance. And like maybe you'll have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but that's really a natural part of the process. Life is not this just steady trajectory upwards like people wish it was, or downwards. It's always waves. always waves and it goes up and down, and that's why it's important to get like used to handling those waves. So pineapple, reconciliation. So yeah, so maybe you're reconciling something for yourself with this, balancing of priorities, or with somebody else. The moon, as the full moon is coming, changes in your life. Seems like maybe especially around that earth stable planning, career, finance part of your life. And unicorn, use your intuition to make beneficial changes. And the intuition, so the GI system, the Virgo, has its own nervous system kind of separate from the central nervous system, which is really cool. So like maybe using like the intuition of like literally like what you're feeling in your gut, as long as you're feeling energy that is really intuition and not just feelings. But learning how to like tell like what is my gut telling me, like that's literally what Virgo sees in on the spiritual side of the plane, part of it at least, is talking about for us. So sadness, love, and consciousness. Consciousness is our ability to feel and sense what is around us and within us, and to tap into a deeper universal connection. Allow yourself to go beyond yourself and your ego. Tune into this consciousness deeply as you move forward on your journey. So like using your intuition and like tap into like the general consciousness to help yourself get out of like the feeling of like being trapped or needing to plan or being perfect or any sense like that. And just tap into like, do your best to tap into the larger picture. And sometimes that intuition alone can like bring you some of the answers you need. Even if you don't know how to do it, just trying to do it can be what does it. Sadness. Makes you sometimes think of the earth is the winter, the nights at their longest, days at their coldest. But there's a lot of mystery and love to be found in the nighttime and in the dark. Sadness can be demonized as an unwanted emotion, but it's part of being human. Without sadness, we cannot truly appreciate the other feelings that will come after and uplift us. This card is a reminder that sometimes you need to feel sadness in order to heal and return to normalcy. Like all things pass. So that sense of mindfulness I was just talking about in the previous video, like if sadness is the feeling, then that's what it is. So a few different meditations you can try. We're always going to be thinking. The point is not really to like clear your mind of thinking entirely. It's to let things pass, whether it's a positive or a negative feeling or whatever, and just continue to let things pass and not like get too like attached to any one idea or thing. And so you can use the thought like putting your thoughts on leaves on a stream and letting those float by, or on clouds in the sky, letting those drift by, waves on the beach, letting those crash. And so if sadness is what you're feeling, then use that processing of like wondering like, is this like, the advice is to let yourself like kind of look at like what you've grown and be like, okay, what of this is worth it and what of it is not, and some of that might bring some amount of sadness as well. And then love. When this card arises, it's a sign to notice the love that exists in your life, whether as romantic, platonic, or familial love, or even an intense interest. Where and how is love manifesting in your life, and how can you embrace it? I don't see a lot of cup energy here, just like I didn't for Leo, which just came before this. So it looks like, tapping into the consciousness. Tapping into consciousness with your intuition. I just am getting water energy today, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'm sure one of the other planets, of course, the water bearer is Aquarius, which is the full moon, but it's like the air that brings in the water, so it's like this beautiful balance of heart and mind. So it's not like obviously cups everywhere, but like Aquarius is definitely still use their intuition, like they bring the water, they support the water, the still air. So where and how is love manifesting in your life, and how can you embrace it? Maybe it's with this pentacle energy. you're reconciling. Maybe that's what the sadness has to do with as well. Like you're sad about not having some sort of reconciliation, or you're sad about not feeling like you're in your Empress energy yet, but like you're on your way towards working on this abundant earth energy though. Just because it's not the immediate future doesn't mean it's not there at all. And so just think about like consciousness and love, which are often the same, but love is really, two sides. It's both the light and the shadow, and like allow yourself to like process through any sadness that comes up for you and not get too perfectionistic about things, and just like allow things to happen as they will. You fear pain here, you fear sadness, you fear significant loss and disappointment, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's coming. You have opportunities for new abundance here. Just the first one. Just going to take the first one here because a lot popped out. So maybe a lot of messages, but it gets muddled if you do too many. Because there's always a lot of stuff going on, and the message that you get in the moment is just the message you're supposed to often get in that moment. And so prosperity lies ahead. So new moon in Taurus, Capricorn moon, Virgo reading as we move into Virgo season, and the last earth sign is Taurus. So like prosperity, whatever you consider prosperity and stability to be, does lie ahead. So like any sadness is just like part of that journey. So keep processing it as part of this Chiron in retrograde, and you'll get on to that next stage of like really standing in your fertile abundance, even if that doesn't feel like it is the next immediate and only step, in remembering that life comes in waves, and allowing that intuition to be balanced with the heart and mind, which is why the water bearer Aquarius is a lovely mix of that feng shui, that water wind, to allow us to understand that Mercury Virgo, it's important to think clearly and communicate clearly, but also to remain in touch with the heart of Leo season. And so prosperity lies ahead. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Thanks for coming, Virgo.